A warm welcome to all of you. My name is Jonathan from the Singapore University of Technology and Design, or SUTD. I hope that over the next few minutes, I'll be able to immerse you a little bit in our world, how distinct and how different we are from universities around the world. SUTD graduates design innovators, regardless of their future careers or industries that they participate in. In traditional universities, a person studies accountancy to become an accountant, law degree to become a lawyer, an engineering degree to become an engineer. In SUTD, we think differently. We believe that every SUTD graduate has enough tools and a foundation to be broad and adapt to the ever-changing world. SUTD is a young university. However, we have accomplished much. When parents ask, where do your graduates go? Where do they work? I say, well, here are 30 of the top employers. These are multinational companies based in Singapore and around the world. They are top research labs, they are tech companies, they are leading banks, startups, as well as many companies that are household names. 9 out of 10 of our students, upon graduation, get permanent jobs with some of the best companies in Singapore and around the world. Our students' median salaries within 6 months of starting their work are among the highest of all the autonomous universities in Singapore. What is amazing is that many of our students get offers from their internship employers. We are very pleased that no matter what happens in the industry, we don't worry because our students are incredibly adaptable. Every one of our students has a very strong foundation of skills they can use in the real world to solve real-world problems. SUTD offers 5 majors, but in truth, you can think of it as one big major being an SUTD student. And each of the majors allows students to specialize in something that everybody else is also able to do. For example, every student graduates with the ability to design, think, and do human-centric systems and solutions in any kind of problem. In addition to that, every student graduates with a very strong digital base, and every one of them knows how to use generative AI. Every student is also deeply steeped in humanities, arts, and social sciences, so they understand humans, people, communities, and the global situation around the world. All our students are also makers and able to construct just about anything, so that they can prototype things and try them out in the real world. For students interested in postgraduate studies, particularly PhDs, you may wonder where our students go. Well, here they are. They go to the top universities around the world, in the US, in Europe, and in Asia. So whether you are going to stay here for your PhD or go overseas, SUTD students have done well. In fact, many of them have come back to become professors in SUTD to spread the word about how we do education. One amazing thing about learning in SUTD is this. If you ask an SUTD graduate, who did he or she learn most from during their time at SUTD, they will likely say a student's name. Having said that, although peer learning is tops and very important here, the faculty here are incredibly dedicated. Unlike some large universities where research is predominant, here research and education go hand in hand, and the professors spend a lot of time trying to make sure that our students have a very strong grounding for their time in industry. In SUTD, over 50% of the learning occurs outside the classrooms. Our 5th rows, which are co-curricular activities, clubs, societies and such, are a very important part of your university journey. These clubs and societies mirror the aspirations as well as the willingness of our students to learn new things. Unlike many places, we do not audition for these clubs and societies so that anyone who can learn can join them. In addition, if the club or society that a student is interested in does not exist, they can start one. SUTD does admissions very differently from other universities. For example, while we still spend quite a bit of time looking at the academic foundation, especially in mathematics and the sciences, and we look 4 to 5 years worth, not just one exam, we're also very interested in what you have been doing, not just in the classroom and the school, but outside. At the same time, we hold great store in understanding them as people. What is their character like? What do they aspire to do? Are these students a good fit for SUTD? At the same time, we interview every shortlisted student in order to give them a chance to also assess us for themselves. At SUTD, we want to ensure that finances is not the main thing preventing you from coming to join us. As a result, we have a very high density of scholarships for students, both for people with academic excellence as well as non-academic reasons. We also have a full range of financial aid, bursaries, as well as student loans. Residential life is very important in an SUTD student's journey. For the first 2 terms, all freshmores have to stay in our hostels, regardless of where their home is, in Singapore or overseas. They then get to know each other very well, their strengths and weaknesses, learn to work together very closely, and that later on is applied when they do team design projects together throughout their 4 years here in SUTD. Besides checking out universities, don't forget to spend some time getting to know yourself. What are your aspirations? What are you good at? How do you like to learn? I think all these things are very important as you choose a university.
Hello everyone, my name is Lynette Ang and I'm Director of Admissions at SUTD. Over the last 5 minutes, you have heard my colleague talk about SUTD and I hope you understand that a little bit more. In this summary portion, I would like to just explain that there are 5 Rs that you can remember or take away from this whole presentation. The first R is recognize globally. Despite our relative youth, with just 15 years behind us, SUTD is one of the top universities in Singapore. And that's why the brand name employers that you saw in the earlier presentation all want to employ our students. On top of that, many of our students get accepted into top global universities, including the Ivy League universities, to pursue their PhD and their master programs. The next 2 Rs describe what you will get in your time here with us. First, rigor. Academic rigor at SUTD is high. 90% of our curriculum and courses were developed with MIT years back when we first started with them. The second R of that is real world. So our education, training and equipping prepares you for real world challenges. That's through hands-on type activities coupled with in-depth training. The last 2 Rs that we have, firstly, rare. The students who graduate from SUTD every year are very rare because our cohorts are small. We have about 500 to 600 students every year. And often we have employers coming back to us asking, can you supply us with more SUTD graduates? And unfortunately, no, because that's our cohort size. The last R is respected, and that's because many of the employers tell us that they are trained to ask questions which challenge their peers and their supervisors to think harder. In that process, the creativity is challenged. So the solutions that the teams come up with tend to be much more creative than if the questions were not asked. So there you go, the 5 Rs. Recognize, rigor, real world, rare and respected. And I look forward to engaging with you further in the coming weeks.